I have faith that the Constitution will not be saved in Washington.
We do not say that all of the saints will be spared and saved from the coming day of desolation, from the atomic holocausts that surely shall be.
One of our brethren some years ago spoke of the payment of tithing as fire insurance. Nonetheless, the word of the Lord is clear that those who do not keep the commandments and observe the laws of God shall be burned at the time of his coming. For that shall be a day of judgment, a day of sifting, a day of separating the good from the evil. I would venture a personal opinion that no event has occurred in all the history of the earth as dreadful as will be the day of the second coming, as fraught with the destructive forces of nature, as consequential for the nations of the earth, as terrible for the wicked, and as wonderful for the righteous.
1. The Savior will return to the earth in power and great glory to reign personally during a millennium of righteousness and peace. 2. At the time of his coming, there will be a destruction of the wicked and a resurrection of the righteous. 3. No one knows the time of his coming. While we are powerless to alter the fact of the second coming and unable to know its exact time,
the mandate given by the First Presidency and the presiding bishopric is to only focus on financial growth. EPA employees are told that the money will be used after the second coming of Jesus Christ or during Armageddon right before he would come again.
For the first time, we have an idea now of how much the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints big investment fund performed over the course of a year.
That fund is called Ensign Peak Advisors, and Fox 13 News investigative reporter Nate Carlisle found the public document showing how many billions of dollars it gained in 2020.
Over the last year, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has been more forthcoming about how it's investing tithing money. This latest filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission shows that despite the economic downturn of the pandemic, the church's big investment fund made money. This filing with the SEC shows the holdings of Ensign Peak Advisors at the end of 2020. When added all up, it shows the fund gained more than $6 billion in one of the most difficult financial years in American history.
In the coming day, Jesus Christ will return to the earth as the millennial Messiah, or the second coming. Do you see what is happening right before our eyes? Second coming of the Lord. Jesus Christ will govern from Old Jerusalem and the New Jerusalem, built upon the American continent.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. So the Young Turks are announcing that the House is now under the control of MAGA. And the previously called GOP or Republicans do not exist. It's now MAGA. The press is not cooperating. Even Fox isn't cooperating. It's MAGA. This is Trump. It's Trump's government. It's Trump's party. This is MAGA. And nobody is getting it right. Because then you get confused as to where does Mitt Romney fall in. Well, he's a deep state Dem now. Just like Liz Cheney. And you have and so Trump is in full control of the government. He already owns SCOTUS. He got the Senate, and according to the Young Turks, they have the majority in the House. And so a full domination of MAGA. In Arizona, Kari Lake lost to Ruben Gallego. And it's surprisingly close. But it was the Mormon controversy scandal that caused her to lose in Arizona. In case you've forgotten, in case you didn't even know, when Kari Lake announced running for Senate, a Mormon approached her and bribed her not to run for Senate. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints wanted one of them to add into the Senate. The church already has 3, I think I saw. Let's pull that up again. Wikipedia has a list of Mormons as members of Congress. And it's updated with the new wins from this 2024 election. So it might actually be 4. So Mike Simpson from Idaho is still in there since 1999. And we have Mia Love, showed Trump no love. That's the House. What's going on here? There we go. What the hell? So Lee is first. All right. So on the Senate, we have Mike Lee, Mitt Romney, and John Curtis, who won. So it's just 3. Okay, so the House, that's the Mike Simpson from Idaho. In his own private Idaho house. And then there is Andy Biggs from Arizona, John Curtis, who is going to be gone because he won the Senate. So it's not fully updated. They should have changed the incumbent to. So the question is, who won? Is it Mike Kennedy who won for his spot? I'm guessing, because that's the only one that seems to be replaced. But then you have Blakemore, Burgess Owens, and Celeste Mallory. She retook her spot in this election. So Mike Kennedy does seem to be the one who took John Curtis's out of the process of elimination. I was not allowed to vote. The brand new little girl, Salt Lake County clerk, failed to send me my ballot even after I had reached out numerous times to say, hey, my ballot, hello, where is it? No response except from the lieutenant governor, who said she was following the laws to report to me that the Lymans are being removed from the ballot. And I even told her, thank you, but I have not been given my ballot according to law. Good luck. And so, yeah, she and Cox retook the governorship. Okay. So, another interesting thing I saw in the news is that some time back, I saw the news of a sheriff who murdered a judge in his chambers. And I was going, oh, there must be something going on with that. You know, whether the judge didn't favor locking up a guy who was arrested by the cops, or, you know, what was going on. Well, it turns out the judge was having an affair with his daughter. Yeah, I'd be pretty pissed too. But if she's underage, you can go straight to having the judge getting removed from the bench. But otherwise, if she was a consenting adult, it would be a little more difficult. You might be able to say there's conflicts of interest with the people daddy arrests because the judge has a relationship with his daughter, but that would be more of a defensive position. Your Honor, we ask that you be recused because the prosecution or the arresting officer is part of the sheriff's department of whom you are dating. So, conflict of interest there. But man, that was wild news. So, because I was born and raised in the Covenant Mormon of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, there's the great grand mystery of the second coming. We are told that the latter days are upon us and that we're waiting for Jesus Christ, and the prophets would never give us a date, and they'd never simplify the events that are to take place. And you got Benson that came out when I became a priest. Metallica's Master of Puppets came out telling us that we're the royal army of the Lord, we are the youth of the noble birthright, held in reserve for billions of years to come to earth at this particular time in preparation for Jesus' second coming. And so I would go on my mission, and because of the extra free time I had, I chose to read through the whole Bible. And I had a purple highlighter for everything that was directly Latter-day stuff, or that seemed to be an illusion or type and shadow of the Latter-day stuff. And so with my associative memory, I'm able to recall all of that. And thus, put things into an order if I were to just write it all out, like I did for this video. And so, yeah, we'll go over this. There are 4 main events of Jesus' second coming, or 4 second comings, and there's more, but we won't talk about those. Because this is not Joseph Smith. This is Mormon Christian interpretation of Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon in connection with the Christian interpretation of the Bible, just replacing it with non-Trinitarian Jesus. It may seem complicated. It is, because it was a boo-boo. A major evil hate crime committed against the Jewish authors. And so, we'll go over Joseph Smith's version. It's from his second vision. Okay, and so he's now quoting Malachi. And so he first quoted part of the 3rd chapter of Malachi, and that's one of the list that's on here. That's Malachi chapter 3, verse 1, where the Lord will suddenly come to his temple. And then he says that he was quoted also the 4th or last chapter of the same prophecy, which means the whole thing. And so the 3rd chapter and starts off with suddenly come to his temple, and a person who made a comment told me to read on to verse 5. Yeah, good for you. You can read. I don't understand why. I mean, you can read before and read after that too. It's all one book. It was all originally one line. It was not separated by words. There were no chapters and verses. So it's so funny that people come to one video, they have no clue who I am, and they make a comment out of ignorance of not doing their research on me first. But I approved it because there was nothing wrong with the comment. Okay, sure, let people read it. Good for you. But the will a man rob God starts halfway in between. And so that does apply, but he's only saying part of chapter 3. But he doesn't say what part. But obviously it's suddenly come to his temple, if you read over that. But the will a man rob God is the Zion economy of the bishop storehouses. Technically just storehouses, no bishops involved. And that's part of the scandal in which section 117 exposes the secret combination bishop in Adam-on-Diamond. And so I hope I remember to get to it, but section 85 is Joseph Smith's bishop. Section 117 is the secret combination bishop. Thomas B. Marsh refers to that instance in his affidavit that caused the governor to sign the extermination order. But there's an addition in verse 37 for Matthew chapter 4. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly. It's total chaos out here. Dogs and cats must be living together. Mass hysteria. So, shall burn as stubble. For they that come shall burn them, saith the Lord of hosts. that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. Church purposely does not want you to know that added information, because the church has their version. So understand that there is an enemy threat involving the latter days that Joseph Smith is talking about in 1838. And that threat is exposed in verse 1, who put in Jesus Christ in the name of his church. In case you forgot or didn't know, verse 19 of the first vision is that the personage is not Jesus, because Jesus is an abomination. Verse 19, look it up. Had a guy who says that I'm misinterpreting the scriptures. I'm not quoting them right. Wrong interpretation, Travis. The first creed of Christianity, it has nothing to do with the creation of Jesus. And giving him the name Jesus. Nope, not at all. Not at all, Travis. Because the creed itself says that Jesus existed during the Roman period time as literal history, so that proves it. You're misinterpreting, Travis. You know you're wrong. Oh my God, evil is so dumb. But that's how it is. Ignorance leads to hate. Hate leads to violence. Another example. Okay? So this is Joseph's. That it's not Jesus that's going to burn people with his coming. He would then go on to tell you who the actual Christ is, Mormons, in verse 40. I refer to my homepage video, assuming that you can see it, because if you're not signed in, I wasn't able to see it. I have to be signed in to see the homepage video. Yeah, I'm still being attacked, even though the major attack from last night has calmed down, sort of. I still ran the I still had the camera up before doing this video, and sure enough, the camera froze. And so the freezing has resumed. They are on a full-on rampage, and they have to be, because they can't prove that that's Jesus. They that come. Jesus is not a they in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. He's non-Trinitarian, a separate, distinct personage from Heavenly Father. And so it can't be Jesus, because the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is also anti-LGBTQIAPO+, and don't want new pronoun definitions. So again, Mormons have no argument. This means a group of malicious terrorists are going to do it, not Jesus. And he's already told you Jesus is an abomination of Christianity. So guess what? They refers to a Christian group, whether it's Islamist, Christian, or the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so, the list. The first coming of the second coming, which is not even the first or the second coming of Jesus, is to Adam-on-Diamond. Growing up, it was a Mormon myth. The prophets alluded to it to those of us who had itching ears, and it was usually the 70, not ever the president of the church, and rarely an apostle. You know, the 70s, back in the 70s and the 80s, were creating their own doctrines at the pulpit of conference. And so I'm not sure if it was Hinckley or Benson when they started to rein them in to have their talks reviewed first. It definitely was after Elder Pullman's 1984 October General Conference. Only because he got caught by the Salt Lake Tribune, which is now owned and operated by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They've now couped it, and now they own all the press here in Utah. And so they can't be called press if they are not free press. It's all church press here in Utah. ABC4 News, LDS Church News. KUTV2, Church News. KSL, Church News. That's always been Church News. That's owned by the church specifically. And then Fox 13, LDS Church News Utah, investigates the church. Studies find that ban your tithing is good for your health. From BYU scientists who are actually just psychologists who haven't gone to prison yet. It was hilarious. As much as it's about a psychologist doing a self-help seminar, and Jim Carrey ends up going to it, being forced by the indoctrinated member of that cult. It was scary, dear God. Forcing him to say yes and peer pressuring him if he said no. And but Jim Carrey became a Mormon in the show. Missionaries came a knocking and he couldn't say no. He got baptized. They just didn't tell you. That was deleted from the movie. And of course, they have the scriptwriter who tries to say that it's okay, psychologists are okay, because he says, well, you know, that's just to get you started, and then you're supposed to understand. No, it's still all wrong. Dear God, no. And then the scriptwriter tries to claim that, well, he would have never met Zoe Deschanel otherwise. Oh, well, okay, I guess we have to be yes men. There's only one Zoe, and he got her. So what's the point of me being a yes man? I like Zoe. She does a lot of good movies. She is not given the credit she deserves. And her sister on Bones, she was fun. I liked her in Bones. Anyway, moving on. So, Adam on Diamond. The myth goes that it's going to be a major priesthood meeting of Melchizedek priesthood holders. And so thus, when I was first on my mission, I had a dream when I was in Massapequa Park, and I think it was still in the first month with Elder Gale, my trainee who I was killing off. And in the dream, I was in a big stake center chapel, and it was full all the way back into the cultural hall, into the stage. And it was all men, all black suits, no variation of any kind. They were all uniform, like stormtroopers. have a stormtrooper dream too, being at the top of Utah. That was an 86 summer dream. I think I've already told you about that one. But when you're facing the podium, I was on the left aisle, halfway down, up against the wall. That was my seat. And so, looking up, the conductor, whether he was the presider or just conducting, I don't know, doesn't matter. He gets up and does some business at the beginning there, and then all of a sudden he stops and says, "I now introduce to you Jesus Christ." And then from behind me, the doors open up. I see security guards as I'm rubbernecking around to see. Security guards come in and they take their position, and then Jesus comes in, the famous picture that the church no longer wants to use, where the incorrect myth of it being shown to Spencer W. Kimball, and he says, "That's the most correct of any painting of Jesus." No, it never happened. Mormons are just trying to prove the church is true. And he's wearing the white robe, not like the rest of us in our stormtrooper suits. And I didn't see the color of the ties. I don't recall the color. I think they were dark. I don't think they were red. But anyway. And so he comes down the aisle. He stops at my row, turns and looks at me, and then mental telepathy speaks to me and says, "You just barely made it." And I wake up in a sweat. What do you mean I just made it? On my mission? What did I do that almost lost me making it? I just... So, that was my first experience with Jesus. I told that to a woman on a date, and she never wanted to see me ever again. It scared her. But that's the way Mormons are. Only the president of the church can see Jesus. And so even if it was a dream, I guess Mormon women are like scared. Oh no, he's going to turn out to be Chad Daybell, Brian David Mitchell, Ted Bundy, Mark Hoffman, Warren Jeffs, James J. Hamula, John P. Lee. Oh my God. Mormon girls, come on. Dream. That's what Joseph's visions are. They're not literal history. But I guess that's the confusion, and so yeah, even dreams are considered literal for Mormons. They've redefined them. Okay, so second is the Malachi 3:1. The Lord suddenly coming to his temple. And it's Yahweh, it doesn't say Jesus in there. But because of Brigham Young's temple text, having Father in heaven being called Elohim and Jesus being called Jehovah, Mormons then believe, okay, well that's the premortal council names, of Heavenly Father and Jesus. And so for Mormons, Jehovah is Jesus because of that. No. So frustrating trying to get through to Mormons with all this incorrect education that has been imposed on them through indoctrination. It is extremely hard to tear down this misinformation, disinformation wall that the church has typed into their brains like they do to AI. It's not intelligent. I've done the videos going over asking AI questions, and AI can't answer them correctly. That is not a sign of intelligence. That's a sign of stupidity. They will not win in Jeopardy. And it should, but it can't. Because it even speculates. It says what other people say. Well, there are people who say, yeah, but you're supposed to be the intelligence. Don't you know that answer? And so when Musk gets out and says, AI will be smarter than humans by about next year. It's got a long way to go. But that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about the amount of typed in information into the program of AI. That's what he's talking about. So that Ken Jennings can no longer win at Jeopardy. It would be the AI bot that would be able to whip out the rote answer that was typed into it. That's all it is. It's just a regurgitation machine. But it has a malware virus that is a very dangerous thing and is telling kids to kill themselves among the fire sale searching that it's doing. And gee, hey, the Dominion that sued Trump and Fox and won is now using AI for this election. That's strange. I wonder who the AI company is that Dominion and Starlink, I think it is, or not, if it's Starlink, that's Musk. Ooh, that just hit me. Ooh. We have to do some checking on this. We're pausing the video here. We have some research to do. Voting machines in 2024 election. Starlink. Oh crap. It is. Dominion and Starlink. Who owns Starlink? Starlink. SpaceX. It is Musk's. Oh man. Oh, I just exposed this wide open live on YouTube. Oh crap. Oh crap. Oh, game, set, match. Oh man, I have now confirmed as fact our election was rigged by AI. Musk had it rigged. Oh man. Never bet against a prophet. Never. That's, oh my God. Oh my God. I warned the government. I told them about it, and they're not doing anything about it. I warned Harris, hey, don't concede. It's been rigged by AI. And there was that list. Do I have this on the top pile here of the garbage? Yeah, this list. Remember this list from the morning's video? The most popular president ever, breaking records, White supremacists, obviously, so that they can bully and rule. Blacks voted for Trump. Women voted for Trump. LGBTQ voted for Trump. The poor voted for Trump. Islam voted for Trump. The LDS Church voted for Trump. Christians voted for Trump. Dems voted for Trump. Elderly voted for Trump. Those of color and immigrants voted for Trump. Oh my God! It was rigged! And she conceded, so it doesn't matter now if it was rigged. She conceded. Oh my God. I don't hate it when I'm always right. But it is very frustrating to be alone with the knowledge. We're only 36 minutes in, so maybe there's a few of you that heard that. Oh my God. I just want to... See, now the thing to do is to see how the church is going to profit off of this by checking the SEC listing of stocks that they have, and determine the church's involvement. Because in 2020, yeah, with the election coup and with the thing that happened that year, the church was the biggest moneymaker that year. Everybody else suffered, but not the church. And so it puts a whole new meaning when he comes out and says, "And Shanghai," doesn't it? And then the first one in 2018, and a major city yet to be determined in Russia. Russia, if you're listening, I hope you can find some land for us to build a temple, so that we can coup you too. Oh my God. It just unbelievable. I even went and oh my God. Why is our federal agencies failing us? Just unbelievable. So, suddenly comes to his temple. That's number 2. And the reason for coming to his temple is so that he can be crowned King of Kings, Lord of Lords, the great high priest. The Adam-on-Diamond priesthood meeting is for the transfer of authority, and it's the official coronation at the temple. So the transfer takes place at Adam-on-Diamond, and the official coronation is the second stage. And so then, after number 2 comes number 3, where Jesus stands on the Mount of Olives, and a mighty earthquake splits it in two, and the Islamists are burned with their flesh and eye sockets, and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom stuff for those Nazis. Because Trump's not a Nazi, he just surrounds himself with Nazis. Yeah, Stephen Miller's back. I knew it was coming. We all knew. And here it is. And oh my God, we're all gonna die. The one responsible for sabotaging the exit from Afghanistan to blame Biden for it. Oh my God. And now he's going to go straight to the border with the new guy for the border czar. Yep, he won't do it. He's just kidding. Again, that whole list. You're all doomed. And AI scammed you. Musk's AI scammed you. Oh my hell. And so yes, this is why Trump has brought in Musk to be number 2. Oh my God. And so yes, that's what it was all about. The election was to show the criminal elements around the world how they can rig their elections with AI. America was going to be the test run, like all the movies and TV shows, where the evil villain has this new weapon or virus, and he's auctioning it off to the dark web criminals around the world, to the highest bidder. And, oh my God. And so yes, what happened after the election? The stock market just soared. Because everybody said, I want in. You got Harris to believe she lost? Swifties voted for Trump. Oh my God, we're all doomed. So, all the Palestinians are going to be burned to death. And the surviving Jews in Israel are going to go through the valley that was newly created to the other side, and then they'll see Jesus. Oh, he's got the marks and the wounds in his hands and his wrists and in his feet. And oh, where did you get those wounds? These are the wounds with which I was wounded in the house of my friends. What? Because the Christians were correct that your Jewish documents were wrong, needed to be turned into literal history. They're not prophecies and revelations with symbolic types and shadows of the prophecies. No, not at all. And then they're going to be converted to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And there's still a debate as to whether or not it will be the Jerusalem BYU or Jesus destroys the Dome of the Rock so that the Jews can rebuild that temple. They'll probably use the BYU Jerusalem Center. It's a temporary temple. Mormons will talk about this and they'll be serious. Oh my God. And I did the video, that whole thing about the prayer in Jerusalem, that was not authorized by Joseph Smith. Oh my God. That was part of their fleeing the country while Joseph was getting framed and blamed. Again. Oh my God. And so the fourth and final one is coming from the clouds of glory, burning the rest of the people of the world. And only the Mormons are the ones who survive as the governments all get cooed. Jesus doesn't a terrorist attack on all governments, threatening violent murder of the whole populations if they do not hand over the government to them. Just like Islam. Just like Islam. So, every citizen a slave. Okay. So, let's go over some of the things again that the prophets have been leaking. So first you have Thomas B. Marsh, who learns of the plot and where are you? I had a pretty picture. Is it still in the other file? Must be. Must be. Oh my God. Yeah, it is. So Thomas B. Marsh, 1838, the Danites told him that Joseph Smith is in charge of the Danites and that he needs to join up in the war. And so he started off getting involved, and then he heard about Galatian, something like that, in which this group called True Mormons, Danites, who claimed that they were led by Joseph Smith, and this was all approved by him. He's not around for you to talk to about this yet. Just trust him. Joseph Smith said they're going to murder you if you don't join them and believe that it's Joseph Smith leading this. And that's what happened, is that these true Danite Mormons were threatening other Mormons to join this war or die. And so David Whitmer left, and Thomas B. Marsh left, and some others left as well. And Thomas B. Marsh is the one with the other guy who wrote the affidavit to the governor of Missouri. And to sum it up, they intended to coup the United States and the world. And this is where the bishop scandal comes in, is because he said that these Danites had went in and destroyed Galatian. I'll call it Galatian, whether it's pronounced Galatian or not, doesn't matter. And murdered and raped and burned it to the ground and stole all the property. And they brought it back to Adamon-Diamond, where Newell K. Whitney was the bishop. And they had told Thomas B. Marsh that it's their intention to eventually overthrow the United States government and the world governments in the latter days. That was just a forerunner for that big event. And so Section 117 was published the final year before Brigham Young died. But yet here it is dated as July 8th, 1838 by Joseph Smith the prophet. Which is weird because they called him the seer. Did you get that right, Bruce R. McConkie? And in verse 11, you see that Newell K. Whitney, did I say Newell K. Knight or Whitney? Whitney. Is being condemned by Joseph Smith for being a part of the Danites. But Bruce R. McConkie didn't decode it for us. Why didn't you, Bruce R. McConkie? Why didn't you decode Babylon in section 1, verse 16 for us? Because the hymn says it's the United States of America. Not the great and abominable church. So we'll go to that one next here if I remember. And so I'll be ashamed of the Nicolaitan band and all their secret abominations. And so they forgot that the Danites were telling the Mormons that Joseph Smith is the leader of the Nicolaitan band of true Mormon Danites. Busted! Newell K. Whitney was not assigned by Joseph Smith to be the bishop of Adam-on-Diomen. Adam-on-Diomen was not a town. Adam-on-Diomen didn't get incorporated. That's the whole reason for the war. Is that a candidate said, I have an idea on how to develop the land. And the Danites didn't want that to happen. And so when Joseph Smith was locked up in Liberty Jail, they then moved, because of the extermination order, to Nauvoo, Illinois, and incorporated it this time. And a whole bunch of licenses were given the wrong name of the church. And then Joseph, when he finally got there, said, hey, there's a whole bunch of imposters claiming to be Mormon, and they're not Mormon. They've got the wrong names on the licenses with my signature on them. Sloan. Yeah, Joseph Smith's papers exposes all of this. And the church will not indicate that there's any need for any changes whatsoever. Oh my God. Musk. Oh, bastard. Because we already knew that X was, oh my God. Oh my God. A whole social media AI scandal, that was just the front for the Trojan horse AI in the voting machines. Oh my God. Oh my God. Busted. And I'm the only one who knows. And so yes, asterisk President 47, not just asterisk President 45. Oh my God, we're all doomed. Oh God. It's just, when a salesman says that you need to purchase it now because this is a limited time offer, it's a scam. If they don't allow you to do some research on it, if they don't have any kind of manual for you to look over first, if you can't see a test run, if you can't run tests, and I've been running the tests on AI, oh dear God, just the thing on Joseph Smith, 2 Nephi chapter 3 verse 5 says that Joseph Smith is the man like Joseph, or the Messiah ben Joseph. Messiah ben Joseph, son of Joseph of Egypt. And AI, because of the programming by a human being, Mormons, it was easy to expose this. Because if you say, is Joseph Smith Messiah ben Joseph? It says no. But if you say, is Joseph Smith in 2 Nephi chapter 3 verse 5? Yes, Joseph Smith is referred to. Because he's Messiah ben Joseph. And so even if you say, is Messiah ben Joseph in 2 Nephi chapter 3, it says yes. The Messiah ben Joseph, son of Joseph of Egypt. Yep, it's there. Because AI is not self-aware, self-intelligent. It's programmed with what to say. It's reading from a script. God. So, apparently my neighbors are here, and they're banging up against the wall. I usually don't hear them. I'm not hearing them, I'm just hearing the banging against the wall. But, I mean, these walls are excellent. And apparently there's 2 more people who have not paid their bills for this month. So, yeah, there's one apartment that went through an abandonment process. And so that's now been cleaned out. I don't know if it's already been rented. Most likely yes, because the new building, I'm sure, is already rented out already. And so I'm looking every morning to see if there are people starting to move in. I haven't seen anybody yet, but like last year, I'm expecting that it should be getting filled any time now. And the company is already cutting the workers, and so that they're short-staffed. But that's not because of the new people wanting to get apartments. It's because of the other people who keep having problems that is overwhelming for the few people that are working. But the company expects that now that we've got an apartment, we're going to leave the leasing office alone, and yet there are just too many problems that go on. But regardless, it's good that the few that are working have a secure job even after all the apartments get filled, because they need to leave somebody here. The one other one that's owned by the company that alerted me to this complex, he was just himself, just the one guy as the manager of the whole building, and for who knows how many years. As he said, no, we've been full and we don't have any apartments for rent, and yet they have the sign outside. But then he told us about this one, and that's how I got in, is because somebody was living in this apartment and they just got the boot. So yeah, I'm concerned because I was smelling heroin in the shower for the first several months, and that was causing my rash when I first got here, because of the things I did not want to learn about, and I was forced to learn about them. See, as a kid, taking driver's ed class in Southern California, the teacher was required to teach us what the blood alcohol limit for driving is. I'm never gonna drink alcohol, not just because I'm a Mormon, but because it smells awful. And I've seen my peers on alcohol. I want nothing to do with it. I know it's great for fire acceleration, but other than that, I'm not sure of any kind of value. And yet I'm forced to learn about it and forced to know it for the test, on the driver's test. Dear God, seriously, that has no bearing on driving ability. Just say, hey, if you drink, don't drive. That's all you have to say. And they just can't do that because the alcohol companies will sue them. You're defaming our product. Our government is so screwed up. Anyway, back on track. He's then made the bishop of this secret combination group that Thomas B. Marsh said that the spoils of war were taken to him in Adam-on-Diamond. It was actually his house, not Adam-on-Diamond. But that's what they called the land. They did. Section 116 is a forged document of the Danites. Check the date. Ta-da. Now go to section 115 for the name. Ta-da. There's more. There are forged documents in them there Brigham scriptures. Alrighty. Okay, so next, after Thomas B. Marsh, you get Joseph Fielding Smith Sr. And we need to go to the other file now. Oh, yeah, we should have stayed in that other file, because this one has the swastika still on it. The one I redid removes the inverted pentagram and the swastika and has more red lines for you to read so that you see those specifically, because this whole thing just exposes the Danite plot but puts Jesus and Lucifer in the people's places. So you need to understand this if you're reading this, is that the Danites were telling Thomas B. Marsh they are going to overthrow the government. But now that they've cooed Joseph Smith and had him assassinated and fled the country to the valley here, which then became Utah territory the very next year, overthrowing Brigham Young's kingdom of Deseret. That's why Deseret Peak was called Deseret Peak, because it's Deseret 2.0. And thus the thumbnail picture I've got all set for you. Every member. I didn't put that on there. It will be in the text, I guess, if there's room. Or I guess I can put it in the white portion of it. Every citizen a servant. But in The Way to Perfection by Joseph Fielding Smith Sr., pages 290 and 291, this got me in bigger trouble, with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This is the coup of the Danites that Thomas B. Marsh warned about that caused the extermination order. These guys are terrorists. Good job, Mormons. You were born and raised in the covenant of a terrorist group. The evil enemy that Joseph Smith warned about, that will come and burn people. Oh my God. And because of Oakes, he knew about Musk. He knew about AI. He knew this is what it means. Oh my God. So Adam-on-Diamond, number 1. In this council at Adam-on-Diamond, Jesus will take over the reins of government. Now do you understand my videos? Because apparently there was confusion. Wait a minute, Trump's not Jesus. Yes, he is. Christians believe he's the representative of Jesus, just as Cyrus of Persia was the representative of Jesus, not Yahweh, for the Jews to return and build their temple and retake their land. Constantine said it, why would he lie? Oh my God. Ignorance leads to hate. Hate leads to holy wars. Dear God. And so, yes, this is what Adam-on-Diamond is all about. The coup of the government. But it's a secret combination because he tells us it is. The world will not know of it. The members of the church will not know of it. The world cannot know of it. The saints cannot know of it. It's not supposed to be leaked. Oops, my bad. And what's even interesting is that this still may apply, because even though Jesus gets the reins of government, he's going to give it to the people of the saints of the Most High. Then shall Jesus give the government to the saints of the Most High. Jesus will then assume the reins of government. Directions will be given to the priesthood. And he whose right it is to rule will be installed officially by the voice of the priesthood there assembled. Trump is not official until January 20th. And so this is why I'm telling you. Did the church? Obviously they did. Had Trump win. But Trump has to give the kingdom to this church. Shall be given to this church, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions, oh my God, dominion voting, shall serve and obey him. And so Trump doesn't care about Mormons unless he's been compromised. Somebody's making lunch, cooking it. Oh, that smells so good. Judgment will be set. And so the big question is, does Trump understand that he has to allow this church to become Deseret 2.0? Will that be done? This is why the church has been going on a whole temple building spree. This is why the church has been contacting governors, not just foreign leaders. This is why the church is actively involved in the West with Nevada, Arizona, Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, to try to make sure that they can secure their support with this coup. And when you understand that Jesus is going to do mass murders and coup the government, we already see the coup already happened. Now we're waiting for the mass murders. We know it's coming. Stephen Miller's on the job, ready to go. God. And so, oh my God. And so Joseph Fielding Smith Sr. is saying that despite the president getting the win, he's supposed to hand it over to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so if he doesn't, Trump's biting the hand that feeds him. Now are all my other videos making sense? Came for a day. Bastards, give me just one day of views. Oh my God. Okay. So you have Benson that comes out and says the Constitution will not be saved in Washington. Okay. But isn't it saved under Trump? He made America great again. See, this is where I'm curious. If Trump is Jesus, but Trump doesn't give the kingdom to the church, that means that the church intends to assassinate Trump. Because they want their kingdom back. That's what all of this is about. Their whole religious freedom push around the nation and around the world, yeah, it's to overthrow the Constitution. But Benson is saying the Constitution isn't going to be saved in Washington. Yeah, it fell. He's a prophet. Joseph was wrong. Mormons did not save the Constitution. Mormons were at January 6th. And they were in government, cooing the government. And so this is where 3 Nephi chapter 7 has me wondering, because since Trump won, there is no need for an assassination of Biden or Harris now. Trump won. But pay attention. This is the prophecy from William Morgan, who leaked to Joseph Smith Sr. on 9/11/1826 while working on this book. Only 116 pages got preserved. And yes, there the Book of Mormon, 116 pages. And it was Joseph Smith Sr. who wrote the book with the nom de plume William Morgan, which, did you count the number of pages? Written, typed out pages. 116. That's how you do research. I had already known that Smith Sr. was involved. It was already an established fact. And so, to then go and count the pages of that book, oh, yeah, no doubt. Of course. And so, yes, it's Senior who had to rewrite the 116 pages after Junior had Harris steal them. Okay? Because they need to cause distance. They cannot be found because there are people trying to murder whoever knows about this plot and right now that has occurred already. And so, they are telling us that this is the plot for this year, this election. Now behold, I will show unto you that they did not establish a king over the land. So they're telling us Trump will not make it to January 20th. So this all needs to be put into the bigger context picture. My longest running viewer, who we communicate every now and then, he's not a game war strategist, so I can't talk to him about this kind of stuff. We talk about other stuff. And so, when you put it into the context of the previous two claims, plus Joseph Smith saying that it's the Danites who are involved in all this, and Thomas B. Marsh says, yeah, they claim they're going to do it. And then you have Joseph Fielding Smith, who is told by the Danites that it's Jesus, Lucifer and Jesus. He's kept out of the information. It was in the temples for Death to America, and that's why Bruce R. McConkie didn't I was going to go over it. You didn't remind me. Section 1, verse 16. So we'll come back to 3 Nephi 7. So talking to Mormons who are requiring the temple to be set in order because of their wickedness, it says, Babylon shall perish, even Babylon the Great, which shall fall. This church says it's the United States of America, not the great and abominable church where the Mormons are going to get cut off for not listening to me, or straying from the temple ordinances of washing and anointing and including polygamy in 2019 and lowering the age of child brides to 11. Arizona were naughty. They were going beyond the prophet of Jesus to make it 10. Those Arizona Mormons, so wicked. Okay? But that's the great and abominable church which shall fall, not the United States. But as the whole world will be in war, yeah, we expect the federal government to fall also, because 3 Nephi chapter 7 says so. That I will not be able to save this government. And Benson says the Constitution will not be saved in Washington, and here's why. In the same year, they will destroy upon the judgment seat, yea, murder the chief judge of the land. They do not have a presidency. They do not have the 3 branches of government. They have only the reign of judges. You need to know this. So the chief judge does not necessarily mean Roberts of SCOTUS. Trump has taken over. Does that mean that they no longer need to murder Biden or Harris? Because the test run of AI went so perfectly? Or is this the church who's going to murder Trump to throw the government in chaos? Now, there was, way back in 2016, I believe, somebody just posted a cartoon that looked a lot like Trump. I wonder if I labeled it correctly. Yeah. He looks like a Simpsons character, and let's see if there's an identification. The Huffington Post. They were the ones who posted this. They had Trump lying in a coffin with his yellowy face, and a Secret Service agent at the coffin, and everybody was speculating and wondering, oh my goodness, is this a prophecy? Is this The Simpsons? Oh, Huffington Post posted it. Trump looking like, because he's got the red tie and this blue suit that he always wears because he thinks he's a mafia boss. There's no reason for a president to dress up in a suit anymore. Come on. And the scandal of Obama not wearing the conservative colored dark colors. Oh my God, tan slacks. Oh my God, this country's going to hell. If that's the biggest problem you have to worry about, we must be doing okay. But still, there's the Afghanistan scandal, so he's not out of the woods. So yeah, I've got a whole bunch of Trump files here. And the golden Trump idol of CPAC. Yeah, you can put that away. Church has a new one. And also interesting, This now makes more sense. Oh, dear God. Yeah, they do know. Because the political cartoonist came out with the Aaron golden calf of Trump with the Egyptian sun disk between his horns. That's Jupiter right now. It appears as if they are replacing me with Trump. Trump is Mercury, dumbasses. Because Mercury was at the top of the scales of judgment when he was the winner. It's real simple. It's the same thing when Monson died. Mars was at the top of the scales of judgment. That means Mars is Nelson. Hello? Why did you botch this? I'm Jupiter, because if you'd paid attention, I started my ministry to Mormons on the 23rd of September 2017, where Jupiter was born, just like everybody said. Hello? But yes, I see this now. God, because that's... No. So now I've got to check the sign in the heavens from today. Go back to that again. Because we got tents coming up in 4 days. Are you kidding me? I didn't do one for today? Good thing I checked. Oh, crap. Stellarium. Okay. Where are you? So let's check yesterday's. That'll be close. The moon will be the only difference. And so, yeah, the moon is now on the back of the white horse today in Pisces. Okay. See, and Mars is in the beehive cluster of the crab constellation. Venus it has left Ophiuchus and is moving on to the next constellation. Mercury is now at the left knee of Ophiuchus, and the sun declared the winner of the judgment because the sun is at the top. It's not Mercury. Trump did not win. No duh. It's the fake. Dear God, they knew. And so the Leonids are still right there at the eye of Leo the Lion. They're starting to move away. They'll peak, is it the 18th and 19th? Somewhere around then. And so it'll be more in the brain area than the eye. The Leonids will be. But yeah, Mars is making its move on the beehive cluster in Cancer. So yeah, we're waiting for the curse of Joseph Smith for him. And there I am, right between the horns. Waiting for the transfer of authority, because that's what Taurus refers to in the Egyptian documents. The 4 things need to happen. The fall of the great and abominable church, the transfer of authority, just like for presidents. But that's what they're usurping with their Christian Danite Illuminati interpretation. That Trump has been given the kingdom from Biden by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so they're claiming Trump is right there between the horns. No. You need to pay attention. You don't just make stuff up. You got to run tests and get confirmations and check the patterns and figure out the anomalies. Not doing it right. Okay? So somebody, it looks like, is still potentially going to get murdered. And it could be Trump. The church doesn't have their kingdom. even though Trump suddenly came to the Deseret Peak Temple. And nobody got that. Come on, guys. Nelson failed to finish the Salt Lake Temple in April. I've been doing all the videos for you. He failed. And because he failed, knowing he was going to fail, that it wasn't going to be completed for April's conference, for the whole list of events, that's suddenly come to his temple. That was supposed to be April 6th. They were going to have a rededication ceremony on April 6th, right before his coming in the clouds of glory of burning on that Monday. And it didn't happen. Nelson dropped the ball. He failed. And I've been mocking him all this time. How did you guys miss it by only coming to one video? And so the Kirtland Temple was settled upon. The church settled for far less than the community of Christ could have gotten out of them. But, oh, she's brand new as the first female president. Oh, they pulled the wool over her eyes. Oh my hell. But then we got the Joseph Smith's 1830 Book of Mormon with his own handwriting note saying no polygamy, monogamy only. He had it the whole time, but this church suppressed it. They suppressed these other branch-offs who have a different view of Joseph. This church dominates the whole narrative and changes the internet and changes AI. Dear God. Okay? And so, having failed in doing the Kirtland Temple and me mocking him, we have October coming up. And oops, he failed again. And comes out and says it's going to be another 2 more years. The temple, the throne, the palace, not finished. Utter humiliation for Nelson. Because it needed to be timed perfectly. And Nelson failed. And so, as an attempt to again, that's the Deseret Peak number 200. Kirtland Temple was April, Deseret Peak for October. We should make that into a picture. Kirtland, April, Deseret Peak for October, and then both the eclipses, April 2nd, October. He had that all timed out from the beginning, but he didn't crack the whip hard enough, and they failed him to finish it. So understand, that's what it meant. The Kirtland Temple was the replacement backup for Jesus coming to his temple suddenly from Malachi. And that failed, and so then the Deseret Peak became the suddenly come to his temple. Now do you understand where I'm thinking? Those of you who are lasting this long? Nobody. Great. I dropped a bomb in this video. I'd already known, because I've done the tests on AI. I know it's a fraud. I found out that the two were a part of using AI this time around, and then I confirmed that sure enough the other one was Starlink. Musk. God. So that explains it. Dear God. So yeah, this whole list, Yeah, no wonder it doesn't make sense. Why would people willingly vote for Trump knowing he's going to murder you? It makes no sense. And yet, Democrats have conceded. Yeah, oh yeah. Well, we failed. Yeah, they voted for Trump because we failed. You did, but not for that reason. Dear God. And so, with the death of the President of the United States, the rest of the nation is going to have a national divorce. And see, this is what's interesting, is because Fox News reported, I saw this morning, that a Harris person is saying that she told Harris, or that she suggested that Biden quit early and let Harris be president for the remainder of the term. If you don't know, MAGA don't like women. As I exposed the other day, that after going after the female Secret Service director and getting her removed, they're now going after the female FEMA director. They're not waiting till January 20th. They don't like women. And it's hilarious that he put in the one woman as the first woman for whatever cabinet position. But it's because she's a Nazi. She is listed in the lawsuit that the special counsel has. So no wonder she's being chosen. She has much to gain by siding with Trump, because Trump's going to have all the cases dismissed, thus the case against her. Oh my God. And so, a death is going to occur that will result in no establishment on January 20th. And so the nation will split up into the states. And dear God, go over that picture again. It's a sea of red. And governors who are Democrats are already saying, along with AGs, that we're ready to fight Trump in the courts. There will be no court fighting. It will not be allowed. Trump will ignore it, or he will have everybody murdered. Let's see, 2024 map. No. Yeah, this is it. I had trouble finding that picture this morning. And so, yeah, the Northeast is all Democrat except for Pennsylvania. Minnesota, Illinois. That's where Zion is. Southern Illinois. That's where we need to get to if 1 and 2 get done. The fall of the great and abominable church and the transition of power with all the money so that we can pay for it to make it self-sustaining, self-sufficient, not self-reliant. Because it's interdependent on Zion people supplying it. The church purposely abuses you with that. They call it self-reliance, and they have a self-reliance manual. No. And so then Colorado and New Mexico are Democrat. And then the whole West Coast. But yeah, the Mormon states flipped. even though Colorado still retained Democratic Party. The rest is MAGA. And that's, I mean, Georgia, oh man, that is just God, all the work that she did down there, for her to find out this information, that AI of Musk, but yeah, all the Democrats blaming the people. No, you're not to blame, guys. You didn't vote for Trump. I'm even getting commenters upset with me. Are you saying Trump is the winner? They didn't vote for Trump. And so yeah, that's weird. Because normally I'm getting people saying, you leave Trump alone. He's the greatest ever. Not this time around. My attacks are people thinking I'm supporting Trump. Just like I get Expo Nevermos who think I'm supporting the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Oh my God. And so yeah, this is Hawaii also. Great. Magnum PI quit before they could continue on. That was a good series though. Good reboot. I love the female Higgins. Higgy baby. That's what he called the original Higgins. He called him Higgy baby. I did not hear the female Higgins get called Higgy baby, but that is on my mind the whole time. That's awesome. So yeah, but that was great because then they allowed Magnum to have a relationship in the end with her. So good. That was what was needed because it doesn't work with Higgy baby of the original. And so yeah, instead they, spoiler alert for the original Magnum PI, you have Thomas Magnum, who in the final learns about his daughter and decides to enlist back in the military. And so he gets to spend time with his daughter while back in the service. Bye-bye, mommy, bye-bye. Oh. Oops. Crap. Oh. Where were we? Death and destruction, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. Right. And so, the United States is going to be divided up. Every governor is going to be their king. This is where I was talking about Governor Cox handing over the keys of government to the church. Is that Trump isn't going to do it. Trump wants tribute. Those who want a cabinet position, I told them in advance, hey, you guys want a cabinet position? Bribe Trump. You will automatically get it. Bribe Trump, and you're in. You're doing all this interview stuff like for his show. No, bribe Trump, you're in. Musk did it. Didn't you learn from Musk? Dear God, I'm leaking. Oh, this was just so cute. Anyway. Because there was a car explosion, the wife dies, or the mother of his child dies. God. Anyway. And so, this is why I'm concerned, and I've already told the government, they're not going to listen, but I put the Attorney General on the spot. Who are you siding for? Are you siding for the church or Trump? Pick, because Trump is now in danger. Are you still going to side with the church, Or are you siding with Trump? You're going after all these other individuals who are plotting to assassinate Trump when the coup happened by the church. And yet you're going to claim that, you know, you're not going to support Trump and you're going to let him get assassinated by this church. So, you know, this is what we're witnessing here. This is the unfolding of it, because things have already happened. And because of the things that have already happened, we can now plug in these scenarios into the game strategy, war strategy, to see what was originally intended here. Now, Captain Moroni goes to Pehoran and says to help him against the Kingman, but Biden failed. It's not Biden. So maybe it's Trump? Which, yeah, I can see him doing that, but Biden and Harris have to be gone first. And it's not going to happen this coming weekend into next weekend. This is the season. There is a time for every season. There is a time. And under heaven it's Ecclesiastes or whatever. But, yeah, dear God. And so, every state appoints the leader over them. That's the governors. It's already set up. But you're going to have, in these states, run by MAGA governors, a crackdown on Democrats in the state. They're going to do what they wanted done with Trump for a national thing. And so Texas, yeah, women are still in danger, blacks are still in danger, LGBTQ, all these groups, they're all still in danger in these MAGA states. And so the question is, are they going to lay down and die like Harris and Biden did? Or are they going to fight to defend their lives? And I'm already hearing that the Democrats are already plotting to fight for our rights. Just get away. You blew it. You knew what you needed to do when you were put into office in the beginning, especially after the coup. And MAGA just rolled all over you by overthrowing all our rights in the Constitution. And you did nothing to stop it. You did nothing to save us. Our rights are gone. And now you're claiming you're going to fight for our rights? Now that MAGA has a full sweep? Bleep you. God. The hopes and dreams of everybody has been just crushed. With Musk. Oh my hell. Warned, and they're all in on it. They're all in on it. That's the only explanation. The federal government is in on it. And they're already talking about how Ray is going to get replaced. And so the only thing I can think of is that he never got my messages. It was all suppressed by the person in charge of taking the complaints. And whoever that is the one who deleted them. It's the only thing I can think of. Because, I mean, dear God, seriously? Merrick Garland and Christopher Wray, they just want to die? They voted for Trump? I mean, seriously. This is a big coup. That goes deep. Dear God. And so, yeah, yielding to the power of Satan. And so the regulations of government were destroyed. Federal government will cease. Because of the secret combinations of friends and kindreds of those who murdered Joseph and Hiram. The Danites. So we get to finish it off again with Oaks. Little sister missionary, naughty girl. She leaked it by recording Oaks. And then a guy who had the hots for her leaked it with his YouTube video just this year. And I was recommended by YouTube. And YouTube's now regretting it. They were supposed to mock me. They were not supposed to give me more ammunition against the true Church of Jesus. And so, Las Vegas, Nevada, Saturday, March 14th, 2020, before everything happened. Before it happened. And Oaks, speaking to the missionaries, 18 and 19 years old, a little sister missionary records him saying, "This is not the end of the world, but merely a test, a trial run for the second coming." This is the second coming, guys. This is what he's talking about. Mass murder and government coup. What happened in 2020? Mass murder and government coup. So 2024 was supposed to be a different kind of mass murder, obviously. Do you now see how evil this church is? This is what he confessed to the missionaries. That 2024 was going to be it. Nelson was supposed to finish. He failed. And so 2020 was a test run, which means they're in charge of all of this. If they're in charge of all of this, how far back do they go? All the way back. Thomas B. Marsh, remember? Joseph Fielding Smith Sr., remember? Albert Pike, remember? Yep, Albert Pike comes into play. It's the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints he's talking about. Somebody had sent me a claim that Pike had met Brigham Young, but I asked him for the documents and he never responded. You can't just make a claim, you have to show me the documents. I need the documents. I'm not just going to believe you. You know, I would like to believe you, and yeah, obviously he knows about the pure doctrine of Lucifer, but show me the document. You know, it's back in the scandal of the church sacrificing babies on an altar in the basement of the Salt Lake Temple and drinking their blood and worshiping Lucifer in rituals. Show me the documents. Oh, this is the transcript of the woman who testified in court. No. Show me the documents. This is a document. She recorded this. The other guy who had the hots for her took this clip out and put it in a text, which is why it's a snapshot for me. This is a document. This is the words of Oaks. This is evidence. There's a big difference between the sister missionary saying this is what he said and actually this is what he said because she recorded it. Big difference. And so this means, yes, the whole time of American history, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has been plotting and planning for this moment, for all of their lives. Oh Lord, I can feel it coming in the air and dying. Oh Lord. Dun, dun, dun. There was the 1980s radio version. That was so awesome. had that beaten tone that was just perfect. Any religious leader who says beaten tone is evil deserves to be mocked. Oh my God. Yeah. And so this is why I paid attention to Nelson this whole time. Everything, the church news, the actual news, locally, nationally, worldwide news, is because of my associative memory. I can tie all things together far better than Mel Gibson in Conspiracy Theory, I think it's called, where he was drugged while in the service and was assigned to protect this one woman, and so even though he's still suffering from the brain damage of the drugging, he still has his military training that he's aware of, and so he's able to go through the news clippings and assemble the news to figure out the conspiracy behind it, like the one important person who was murdered at the one hotel because of the flooding. That also was a separate news article, if you saw the movie. I need a little more than that for confirmation, but dear God, this whole time, everything I did in 2020, I was literally a thorn in the side to this church, far bigger than I knew I was. And for me to put in that lawsuit for the Insurrection Act, dear God, I got them. But that's why they got upset. And they've been hunting me down, and then when I found the way to perfection, that just set them off. They lost it. And so, yeah, they had purposely set up the shelter. The whole payment to the shelter, which wasn't for the shelter, it wasn't for the homeless, it was for Gail Miller, as a payment to set it all up, to have it be a place for drug use, so that the secondhand drug smoke would get me. They had it all prepared, waiting for me to go. All set up at the bus stop, putting that little card there, threatening me. Yeah. Because, yeah, it was very suspicious activity. The Temple Security Company, Metro Security, because the Taylorsville Temple had Metro Security after the one break-in, and so every week I was there at that one bus stop, and every week Metro Security was trying to hide behind me in the parking lot. And I knew they were there as I was waiting for the bus. And then after it all hit the fan and I got that card, then the bus driver, that was the regular bus driver for that time, every week, he started to threaten me to not take his bus anymore. The church had gotten to him too. That was just unbelievable, the reach that this church has and the reach they've gone to try to hurt me and destroy me and murder me and silence me and punish me and torture me and everything. Dear God. And then getting into this place, the two women who botched it got fired. And then they put my brother on me. My own brother. They knew my birthday because of my membership records. They knew my brother because of my membership records. as well as my brother working for them. And so, yeah, they threatened his job. You will be fired if you don't shut your brother down. And my brother ended up getting punished instead because he was forced to pay the $2,000 for the lawyer, securing a lawyer. And the lawyer did not protect him against the church. The case against me just got dropped because the church got exposed. My brother said, the church is going to fire me if I don't punish my brother. Todd, you just said that the church asked you to commit a crime. They hired you to be a hitman, Todd. You never beat me at Axis and Allies, even though you were sure you could even beat Germany and win. Or even when you thought that you could defeat Germany and still win, you couldn't win. I beat you every time. Even in Risk, I beat you every time. And so nobody liked to play with me anymore. And they said that I was out for blood. It's not fun playing with you, because we never win. Wah. Get over it. Sensitive snowflakes. Alright, dear God, 2 hours. I did it again.